This is Tom. I coming to you with this week's Believe in the Blue update. And when I give you an update, it's for the board meeting that we had last week here. Just want to let you know a few things about that. But first, some information that way, just in general, registration for the next school year, the 2019-2020 school year. I know it seems early to be saying this, but it will sneak up on us. It is July 29th and July 30th that way. And that is from 10 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock in the afternoon or 7 o'clock in the evening, no matter what grade your students are in. That is at the Bellevue Middle School High School Commons area. So I want to let you know that. One thing we will also have available this year is the ability to pay by credit card. We've had that request multiple times. We'll also be able to combine everything into one payment instead of having a payment, especially at the middle school and high school, for the instructional material fees, the lunch, and then the computer fee and things like that. So we'll be able to combine that all into one. We will separate that out later. But just so you know, that will be an option this year, and I think people are looking forward to that as well. We had some open enrollments to approve. We also had some resignations. Diane Bell, a fifth grade teacher, is resigning, and she is going, actually moving to Missouri, where she just recently got a job, I was told yesterday. So that's good news for here. And then for her, she's served in our district for 12 years as teacher librarian, and then the last year as a fifth grade teacher that way, but moving with family there. Danielle Putman is assistant high school volleyball coach, is resigning that position based on some other outside circumstances that way. Some recommendations to hire were for high school Spanish. We're part of an exchange program with Spain right now in the Iowa Department of Education. That is Laura Garado Carrasco. She's coming to Iowa from Seville, Spain, and has been teaching there. Has been teaching English there, actually, that way. But we also have Kelsey Ernst as a kindergarten teacher, Jake Huntley for vocal music, and then Kristen Wright for newspaper and yearbook, along with assistant drama director. So those are some positive things there for us. We are adding a third section of kindergarten based on numbers for this upcoming year, which is a great thing. We actually are combining some preschool. We don't need an extra 3-year-old section for preschool, so this works out well to have a kindergarten section with our space that way. The common curriculum, we talked about the Iowa Youth Survey and some just general trends on in regard to alcohol use, cigarette use, marijuana and other illegal drugs, suicide, bullying, safety, on down the line that way. So those are some things that we talked about. That information is online if you'd like to look at that. We had the bread and milk bids come in. We have to go through a formal process for that. And this year's bread bid once again went to Bimbo Bakery in Dubuque, and the milk bid went to Prairie Farms or John Ruggerberg from Bellevue for the milk bid that way. School nurse, we're going to be sharing once again with the Andrew Community School District. Kelly Humphrey will be sharing that. We reviewed our safety and security plan for all buildings in the district as a whole, which we developed and will be submitting to the state that way. We're also in the process of reviewing our 700, 800, and 900 board policies. Those are just different policies that way. So those are also online if you want to review those that way. One of those is also the substitute teacher pay policy, where we are far behind other districts. We'll be making some adjustments there. In addition to that, we made a transfer of funds from the general fund to the student activity fund for protective equipment, catcher's masks, reconditioning football pads, mouth guards for football, things like that. That was in the amount of right around $4,000. We also transferred funds from the from the Comet Club, which was a mentoring program at one time, and now has really been developed into the Bellevue Big Buddies program through Bellevue Big. So we transferred around $300 in funds there. We also renewed our agreement with the Mississippi Bend Area Education Agency for driver's education, which they have started this week here as well for this year, but we already renewed it for next year that way. They have kept the same price over the last 8 years that way, which is a good deal for us. That way, price is $375 that way. Also discuss some district boundaries, and we're having a public hearing at our July 8th meeting to discuss the boundaries that way. And basically, we need to just change some language instead of changing the taxing where it's at. And this is between the Bellevue District and the Dubuque School District. Dubuque District made a request saying our lines were not exactly accurate, so we were just redoing the language instead of changing where people's taxes are going to that way. Also increase our health spending plan that way, which we needed to do for legal reasons that way, for our flex spending that way. Title I, the board approved for myself to move forward with applying for and getting funds for Title I reading specifically, and that's shared between the Bellevue School District and the Marquette Catholic schools that way. We have comment reading and reflection in the book that we are looking at right now, an excerpt from, and it's called iGen. And it really talks about the generation that we're in right now. Talks about kids, talks about young adults, talks about adults like us and older and younger and everything like that way. But it just gives a comparison to really look at things. Our entire staff is reading it for the beginning of the school year and then throughout next school year. But then I also had some excerpts in the comment highlights, which are online under district superintendent. Then you'd see some of the information that way as well. Send some information items. We have of our 60 graduates, 43 of those graduates are going to college, which is a little lower. It's actually quite a bit lower than the past. But we have some going to 2 years, some going to 4 year, 14 going to 2-year college, 29 going to a 4-year college. We have 14 going to work, but one thing with this, some of those kids already have a certificate and something to go to work. So they already have some college education following there, whether it's welding or other things that way. I also have a couple undecided, and one will be a 5th-year senior that way. So we have a list of where those people are all going in the notes that way too. We received a $1,000 grant from the Dubuque Racing Association for a $5,000 project of installing more lights in our parking lot for safety of our people, especially at night after events that way, adults and students alike. Facility updates, we're working on the elementary roof right now. That came in a little less than $50,000 due, and that is completed at this time. We also are doing some work in the middle school girls' locker room. That way, we're doing some work in the what we call the middle school hallway in the past as well. And the IASB, Iowa Association of School Boards, legislative priorities. We'll talk about those at the July meeting. And then we also went into closed session to have a superintendent evaluation. And then we came back into open session, and superintendent, that's myself, was granted another contract that way with a 3% raise, which is the same as all other employees in the district that way. The next meeting is July 8th at 6:30. If you have any questions, please let me know. Enjoy summertime. Just a few other dates for you here. Practices at the high school level start on August 12th that way. Yeah, there's things going on in the morning. We have kids here every morning. I get here and they're coming in with me or right before me or right after me, whatever. They're here about 6:15 in the morning. A variety of different students that way. A lot of things going on that way. So, but new teachers start here August 16th. All teachers and all staff return on August 19th. And there's some other days between there and the 22nd what they do, and then the 23rd is the first day of school for students. So have a great day, everyone. Have a great week. We'll go from there. Have a good one.